What would you do if a repair shop refused to give back your car? When I got back from a 6-month military mobilization, my little Toyota SR5 truck had been sitting in dry storage the entire time. I'm 30, a nursing student, and an Army veteran who's been doing most of her own car maintenance since before enlisting. The only things I don't do myself are tire balancing and the jobs that need heavy shop equipment. So after months away, I went over every inch of that truck. New fan belts, air filters, spark plugs, oil and fuel filters. I changed the oil, flushed the radiator, checked all the connections, inspected the brakes, swapped my winter tires for summer ones, and restocked my survival kit. It was clean, tuned, and ready for the road again. All that was left was getting those tires balanced. I drove to a Les Schwab tire shop on a sunny afternoon. Because I had errands to run afterward, and because I'd just spent half a year in dusty uniforms, I was dressed up. Heels, slacks, a silk blouse, blazer, hair in a neat bun. When I dropped off the keys, I told the guy at the counter all I needed was a simple tire balance. He said it'd take about an hour. I was going to walk down the block for errands, but through their big glass window, I saw them already pulling my truck into the bay. So I decided to wait and watch. 2 techs started removing the tires, and the same man who took my keys sat down in the driver's seat with a notepad, scribbling something. I figured he was logging mileage. 10 minutes later, he walked back inside wearing a serious expression. "Ma'am," he said, "during our free safety inspection, we found quite a few issues with your vehicle." "Oh?" I asked. "Like what?" He began reading from his pad. Fan belts cracked, oil dirty, radiator flush needed, filters clogged, brake pads worn out, alignment off, tires unevenly worn. According to him, my little truck was a disaster waiting to happen. Now here's the kicker. He hadn't even opened the hood. Everything he listed were things I'd just done within the last 48 hours. Then he added, "I'm really sorry, miss, but your vehicle isn't safe to drive. We actually can't release it to you in its current condition." I blinked. "You're saying I can't take my own vehicle?" He nodded gravely. "Correct. It's not roadworthy." Trying to keep my cool, I asked, "What would it take to make it roadworthy?" He made a show of doing math in his little notebook. "A rough estimate, about $3,700, maybe more. Your truck's an import. Parts can be hard to find." I asked to speak with the manager. He said the manager was out for the day. "So," I said slowly, "you're refusing to give me my truck unless I agree to thousands of dollars in repairs that you say it needs?" "That's right," he said, still in that fake sympathetic tone. "It's a safety issue. Is there someone you could call to pick you up?" I smiled sweetly and told him I'd make a call. I stepped outside, walked far enough that they couldn't hear, and dialed the local sheriff's office. I calmly explained the situation. My vehicle was being held without cause, and the shop was insisting it was unsafe when they hadn't even inspected it properly. The deputy on the line said he'd be there in 15 minutes to help clarify things. I went back inside, still smiling. "I've got a friend coming to help me sort this out," I told the man. "Could I get that list of issues and your estimate in writing for them to review?" He was all too happy to hand it over, signed and dated, with his name and phone number printed clearly on top. He even said, "Take your time deciding. We want you to feel comfortable with the repairs." I thanked him and sat down to wait. 15 minutes later, a patrol car pulled up outside. The deputy came in, spoke with me, then asked to see the paperwork. He walked over to the employee and started asking pointed questions. The shop suddenly got very quiet. Right about then, the manager who was out for the day magically appeared. His timing couldn't have been better, just in time to witness his employee being escorted out to the parking lot. The deputy came back inside and told me the matter was resolved. The manager apologized profusely, stammering something about a misunderstanding and promising to handle it internally. He personally finished balancing my tires and insisted on doing it free of charge. I stood nearby, watching him work, and he wouldn't make eye contact. When he finally handed back my keys, he practically begged me to come back next time so he could make it right. I thanked him politely, climbed into my truck, and started it up. The engine purred, the tires were smooth, and everything I had fixed myself was running perfectly. As I pulled out of the lot, I caught the manager's face in my rearview mirror, pale, embarrassed, and definitely rethinking his hiring choices. Sometimes you don't need to argue, shout, or prove anything. You just need to know your facts, make a phone call, and let the right people do the talking.